This is going to be a different episode, another short, quick one, I think. I'm here with Ian,
Howdy. Sorry.
and God damn it.
Hey.
Apparently, he says howdy now. No, I'm just kidding.
A lot's changed since I've last been on. I wear cowboy hats.
He's in a full get up right now.
Oh, full cowboy
Full
regalia.
giddy up, you might
Yeah.
say.
Ooh, I like that.
Thank you. We just haven't talked in a minute on the show about just what you've been watching. You've been watching a lot of cool stuff, so we're going to do a quick episode to talk about that. So what have you been watching?
Oof. Man. Yeah, it's been a minute since we last talked. So I have watched a lot of movies. And I guess I'll start with the most recent. And this was last night. This is a 5-star movie. It's 5 stars and a heart. That's what I
Ooh.
gave this one. And that is 1957's 12 Angry Men.
Yeah.
Directed by Sidney Lumet. Is it Lumet? LeMay?
LeMay probably, but
it's probably LeMay.
Either way, I feel stupid.
Yeah, exactly. When you say it, you have to have like your pinky out or something. Like, what are you supposed to say about a classic? You know what I mean?
So yeah,
it's like I've never. I feel like it's a cliche to be like I love movies about like rooms of like just like men talking in rooms, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's like something that people will say or have said in the past, and I'm right there with them.
Yeah.
This is a movie about 12 men trying to figure out basically a murder case, which way they stand. And it's extremely compelling. The acting is superb. These are all like grade A character actors that you've seen in so many other things, especially Henry Fonda. You know, he's like the star of the show. And it's just fantastic. I don't know if you haven't seen it. It's truly one of probably the best movies ever. Yeah. Again, Sidney Lumet. I've seen only. I've seen I've seen Dog Day Afternoon, and the most recent one was The Verdict, which is also an amazing late period Paul Newman movie.
Yeah, I need to watch The Verdict.
Yeah, The Verdict is fantastic. So he's amazing, and I'm looking at all his movies. He's directed, it says 57 films.
That's crazy.
Like, this guy went to work. So I'm gonna have to watch all of them because once again I'm just like floored. I was floored. The writing's fantastic.
Yeah,
they do a lot of those like really good like push-in shots of like facial like when they're like when they're like sweating, or like you can see like the nervous ticks on each face. It's really good. Extremely it's like uncomplicated filmmaking, you know what I mean? It's like very one room, that's it. So that's
dude. And just like I always get anxiety when I think about that movie because I'm like, man, it's just 12 guys, one room, like you said, but like as a director, figuring out how to shoot that in a way where it doesn't get boring,
sure,
and how
exactly.
to make it compelling, and you never feel bored of the room or like the setting. It's very it never feels like you're, I don't know, it just keeps moving, and it's very interesting visually still.
Well, no, it's hard to explain, I guess, from someone who has no filmmaking background, you know what I mean? Like you see it and you're like, okay, it's just, as we've said before, men in a room talking, but the way it's shot, so like cinematic. There's like, obviously it's a movie, but anyway, I don't know. No, I need to stop talking already.
No, I agree. Like, to me, it's one I always watch because I think, in my opinion, in filmmaking, there's like kind of the biggest flex is being able to make a compelling movie with very little like cheating, and not even cheating, but like, because if you go to like let's say like the later Mission Impossible movies, like you have amazing stunts, you're going to these amazing locations, you're like Tom Cruise, who's willing to do anything and is like one of the biggest stars, and I love those movies, but they're like, it makes sense, they do all the tricks,
they're so
to make
frenetic.
a fun act. Yes, and they're using all the locations they can and like shooting on location, but like being able to make a movie in one location with like a limited amount of people
Hmm.
and still make it interesting and keep up the tension and suspense and build
Yes.
without again switching locations and introducing a gun that adds to, kind of like
Yeah.
Michael Scott always pulling out a gun in his improv class. Like, yeah, that's the easiest way to build tension. So like
Right.
Think about this. What is the most exciting thing that can happen on TV or in movies or in real life? Somebody has a gun. That's why I always start with a gun, because you can't top it. You just can't.
but they managed to do it all with none of the things that help you do those things. It's all in camera and performance and how you're shooting the same room over and
Right.
over. Because like,
Like, how to use the space. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
You feel like no one's going to want to watch this for 3 minutes, let
Right.
alone an hour and a half.
That's another thing. This is a 97-minute movie. So tight, no
Yeah,
frills. Like, that's another thing. It's just like it's not
black
overbloated,
and
doesn't
white too, not
black and
even
white.
color.
Yeah. And I think the black and white helps too, again when you see like the room, like the setting in the movie starts to get hot, right? Like the fan doesn't work, everyone's sweating, there's a lot of tension. So when it's black and white, you can really see like the beads of sweat on every guy. You can see the pit stains.
Like
It just
lines
again
on
makes
their
it so like visceral.
faces.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really, really great.
Another thing I love about that movie, this is just like a great movie if you like movies, because it's just,
Mm,
I don't know, and it's a lot of people, a lot of like good talented filmmakers consider it one of their
right.
favorites. The very beginning of the movie is like, I think one of the only scenes where you're not in the jurors debate
Mm-hmm.
room, and you see the kid who's on trial. It's a young
Mm.
kid. He looks to be of mixed ethnicity. It's a kind of not clear, but you see him for one shot before they go into the deliberation
So
room,
you get a exactly right. Yeah, go
and
ahead.
it's
Sorry.
like you never, no, it's okay, you never get to see his face again while they're talking about him. So like at first you're like kind of like, okay, there's the kid, got it. And then the whole movie they're talking about this kid, and your impression of him is built on this one shot, and so everything they're saying you're connecting to
And
this.
they
So
linger. They
yeah,
linger for a long time. They fade out on his face, and he has like these big, like soulful eyes. Like you can just see, like you can see his life flashing before his eyes, and it
yeah,
just like kind of slowly fades out into the room. Yeah, amazing.
you're kind of like the jurors where you don't get to like look at him again. So you're basically the face that you see in your memory changes throughout the movie as these
Right,
people are framing this guy in a certain way. And so you're kind of like, it's giving you a blank slate to build your own impression of the kid on as these guys make their cases as to why he's guilty or innocent.
right.
Puts you kind of in the shoes of the characters. I thought, because I kept trying to remember what he looked like, so I was pulling on that one image we got of him throughout
Yeah,
the whole movie of them in the deliberation room, and I was like, what did he look like? Like, oh man, was he kind of creepy or was he innocent looking?
right. It just really makes you think of like juries now, just like how they like view, like you know what I mean. Like I
Yeah,
feel like the movie did a good job of having a like almost like a caricature of like what every jury member would be. Like there's the one guy who wants to leave early because he has things to do.
yeah,
There's the guy who's like pretty problematic and is kind of like, you know,
little prejudice probably
yeah,
coming
there's the
into
guy
his
that wants to
opinion.
like bring swift justice, like even though
Yeah,
it's like because he has like he's able to, right?
yeah,
It was really, I really enjoyed it. I really, yeah, again,
yeah. That's a
really
good
good.
one. No,
Yeah.
that's a fun one.
Anything you wanna?
Yeah, this is not as cool as yours. But I watched, well, okay, I'll start with what I watched most recently. I'll probably talk about it on this week's episode still, but
Nice.
I watched Grey Gardens, the documentary.
Oh, I saw you. Yeah, posted the
Have you
clip.
seen it? Have you ever watched it?
I know of it. I actually saw the documentary now.
I was gonna say
The
Fred
their little mock.
Armisen and
Yeah. So, and I think I've read the Wikipedia page because I'm like, what is this? So yeah,
yeah.
tell me more, please.
I've seen bits of that episode from documentary now, but I didn't watch like the whole thing, and I didn't have any. Basically, I went into this like fairly blind
Mm,
and without knowing. It's just a really cool, interesting movie, and it doesn't give you a ton of context for who these people are. They do
right.
show you. There's not a lot of narration. I don't think there's any narration actually.
Mm,
the only kind of narration you get is at the beginning of the movie. They show you some articles about these ladies that give a little bit of backstory, but you're seeing it through like the news article. What are you gonna say?
Is this a documentary?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's really fascinating because it kind of just drops you into this story where these ladies are kind of like rich. They're kind of like notorious for being I don't know what the right word is, but they're
Like socialites or
like former socialites who have now kind of fallen into just being like outsiders, I guess. And so
okay.
basically, that these ladies are living. Their house has been condemned, and they've had to like fight to keep their house
Okay,
because it's
yeah.
so disgusting. And there's like fleas, and there was like
I feel like I've
rodent
seen
problems.
the screenshots I've seen of the movie or like in like of the infrastructure of the house, and
It's truly disturbing in that way. And I feel bad because I don't want to make fun of these people because I really liked them, but it's
fine.
But it's just how they introduce the movie. It's not even my opinion. They just tell you that this has been condemned. They had to fight to keep the house. They're related to the Kennedys, which is really fascinating.
Okay.
So they're like connected to royalty. So these are like people who are part of like or were part of like a special like kind of upper class group.
Some higher, yeah, right.
And like so then you're just dropped in and you're like, okay, what's going on here? And again, I didn't have a lot of context, which I think was a fun way to watch it. And so I'm ruining it for everybody who's going to listen to this without watching it now. Like you're like, oh, these are people with mental health
unhinged.
problems.
Okay, is it a mother and daughter?
Yeah,
they're related. Okay, right.
Yeah, the daughter is like 55. The mom is turning 79 at the time of filming, and I won't go beat by beat, but it's just a really fascinating movie, and it's really funny, but also extremely sad and heartbreaking.
Right.
And you kind of slowly realize this is like a tragedy. It's not. Yeah, I'm not sure where I'm going with it now, but it was a fascinating movie, and I would recommend everybody watch it. Just like it was really like a fever dream. Like I was like, what in the world?
Is it filmed like how much time is it filmed over? Is it like a day? Is it like a year?
They don't really give you a ton of context. Like there's even one line in the movie where she's the daughter. So they're both named Edith too. So there's old Edie and young Edie. It's really fascinating. But young Edie's laying on the beach and she's like, I don't even have a clock. I don't know what time it is anytime. I don't know what's going on. And so I think the movie kind of tries to keep you in that. And there's no clocks in the house. Right. In that mindset where it's just kind of like
it's just stuck
happening.
in time. Yeah,
it's a dream. It really is like just like a dream. Like it felt like a David Lynch movie, kind of.
Interesting. I have to watch it. I am very interested. How did you watch it? Did you rent it somewhere?
It's on Max, I believe.
Oh, good.
And so I watched another documentary before that, David Holmes, The Boy Who Lived, which is about the stuntman for Harry Potter. Yeah.
Oh.
It's about Harry Potter's stuntman who
I did see this. Yeah.
7th film was injured in a stunt, and was paralyzed, and just kind of about his life dealing with that, which was a really sad but inspiring and sweet movie. Cool. And I was just feeling like another documentary. And Grey Gardens I always see images from, and I've always just been like, what is this movie?
Did you watch it with Becca?
Yeah.
What'd she say?
She liked it a lot. She had a lot more. I think she'd seen the movie. She was like super familiar with the Documentary Now episode.
Right.
And Gilmore Girls. Becca's a huge Gilmore Girls fan. Yeah. Apparently they talk about it a lot on Gilmore Girls. So she
interesting.
Had a bit more context. So she was kind of like laughing.
Kind of the mother-daughter dynamic is a little Grey Gardens.
Probably,
maybe?
Yeah. Probably, okay. Yeah. I wonder if that's how it comes up. That would kind of make sense. Mom and daughter living in a house fighting all the time.
Wow. Okay.
Hopefully I didn't say too much about it, but it's a really
I feel like it's a movie you can't say too much. Like, you know what I mean? It kind of feels like you get dropped in and that's it. There's no spoilers or...
It really was just like Alice in Wonderland where I was like, what am I doing in this house?
Right.
Like, I don't know if you've had those experiences in real life where you just like end up somewhere where you're like, wait a minute, like, what am I doing here? And who are these people?
Thankfully, I haven't. Happy to report, no.
I have. And it hit scratch that itch. Hey, early 20s, man. Just go do things.
It's a wild ride. It
Yeah, it
was
was
the Grey
fun.
Gardens period of your life.
The White Gardens, that's my last name.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah.
That was a fun one, and I wish I had thought of how to talk about it better, but I just watched it last night.
I don't think I feel like those types of movies, especially like the open-ended documentaries, like what are you supposed to say? Especially if there's not like a narrative thread through
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah, no, and it just I also will say too, just to wrap it up, I really love that there's no narration. I think modern
Right.
documentaries have too much of the filmmaker talking.
I would like to watch a documentary about the making of Grey Gardens. That would be kind of interesting.
So on Max, there's two other Grey Garden things. They actually made a series called Grey Gardens with Drew
What?
Barrymore playing young Edith, and I can't remember who's playing the
What?
mom. I have no idea. I think they're younger, so it's showing kind of before they went into full.
It's the prequel. What?
Like actually,
You're
and
right.
there's another documentary called Grey Gardens, something, which I just needed to ruminate on the original documentary before I watch more. Like I don't even want to know too much about them
Right.
yet until because it really is an incredible experience watching it.
Yeah, it was a 2009 film with Drew Barrymore and Jessica Lange, who plays
Yeah,
the
yeah,
older Edith. Interesting. I got to watch this. I have to watch this. Um, okay, if I can piggyback off that,
yeah.
because I
Please,
also watched kind of a pseudo documentary, and this is my last trip to the movie theaters. I
nice.
watched Renaissance, a film by Beyonce. Oh man,
How
whoo
was it
boy,
in theaters too?
in theaters.
Nice,
Um, so let me preface this by saying I like Beyonce. I think she's an amazing artist. I appreciate what she does for the culture. But I feel like whenever, like, if I listen to her, like, I'm never excited, I guess. But here's the thing: whenever, like, okay, for instance, for our first our first wedding anniversary, Alexandra and I saw Beyonce in Seattle, and
nice,
I was like, okay, cool, let's go, that'll be great. I wasn't overly excited, but it's a concert, it's great. It was one of the best shows I've ever seen. It was incredible,
nice.
right? And then after that, she releases Homecoming on Netflix, and it's the Coachella performance. And Alex is like, we have to watch this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, okay, great. All right. I'm not very excited. I watch it. I'm blown away. I'm like, this is incredible. And then again, here we go.
You think you would have learned?
We have to see Renaissance in theaters. I'm like, okay, fine. We have to drive 30 minutes south because it's no
Yeesh.
longer playing in Seattle. I'm like, okay, let's go. Caleb, it was incredible. It was truly
Yeah,
one of look, this is like the year you had the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie, and you had
right.
this. This is from what I've heard. This is, or from what I've seen, this is more documentary mixed with her tour, with the Renaissance tour. The
Okay.
Eras movie is just tour flat out. So this one has a lot more kind of like weaving in narrative of how she got to this tour, like what she put herself through in terms of like for example, she like I think she broke her knee or something previous to this.
Crazy.
She got it like so it aggravated, and you see all this footage of her basically doing rehab. And it's crazy. Like they were saying how like it took her like less time to finish rehab in order to do the tour than it would for like a normal person. And you see it. You see all the work she puts through. The editing of so it gets so these little like interstitial like little like docu parts are mixed in with the actual, you'll see like songs being played out. Caleb, the editing of this movie, it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen because you see the basically the entire tour, and you see all their outfit changes. Like during a song it'll cut and you'll see like 5 different outfits in like 5 seconds. It's amazing. It
Cool.
was truly like breathtaking. I was looking because I was like, who edited this movie? There was like 10 people that worked on it, just editing it. Really good. I mean, I don't know if you've listened to the new album. It's very good. It's like perfect for like a stadium tour. They're like very cool, almost like club, like 80s club music. That's kind of like the vibe. But incredible. Once again, I doubted Beyonce, and I have egg on my face. Truly one of the best movie going experiences. And there's only like probably handful of people in the theater, but everyone was having a blast. It was so
Cool.
good.
Did people dance? Did people get up and move?
There was some foot tapping. I didn't see anyone get
Yeah.
out of their seats. If this was like week 1 of it coming out in theaters, I'm sure people would be on the dance floor, like no
Yeah.
problem. But yeah, I would say if you haven't watched it, I would say rent it, because it's true. Even if you're like a Beyonce skeptic, it's so fun.
Still
Like
worth
it
it.
actually is like really, really, really good.
That's fun. I really like Beyonce, but I've never gotten fully into her music,
Right.
or you know what I mean? I'm just like, yeah, she's awesome, but
Right.
I've never, so it'd
No,
be
I'm the
fun.
same. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. But here we are.
Is Jay-Z in the documentary?
He is, but he kind of takes like he's like very much the cheerleader throughout the movie. Like, so there's
Cool.
like little parts where he's like talking. Dude, there's this one part in the movie. So they have a daughter, right?
Okay.
Their older daughter, Blue Ivy, who she's probably, I want to say she's like in her teens now.
Whoa, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
crazy.
I remember her being born.
She like begs her mom. She's like, I want to be part of the show. Like, I want to dance, blah, blah, blah. And you see her perform, and it's truly like, it's like tear jerking, like, because you see like the lead up of you actually seeing her perform on this huge stage in front of like 40,000 people, right? And you see this like 13-year-old girl like basically going through all this like dance training, like cheered on by these like fellow dancers, by like Beyonce's like really good backup dancers. It
Mhm.
was just like, it was truly incredible. And yeah, really,
Does she
really,
get to
really cool.
perform?
Yeah, you get to see it. It's like,
So she's
truly,
on,
like,
she's
you're like,
part of the tour?
yeah, she performs, and it's
Cool.
just like, that's so beautiful and insane to be the daughter of two of the most famous people on earth.
I was gonna say, the older I get, the more stuff like that, like a 13-year-old going in front of a humongous audience and
Yeah,
doing things is incredible.
it was like fearless. Like, it was
Yeah.
like, I was stunned,
I couldn't do it.
No way.
Did you see the Taylor Swift tour?
No, because I don't really care about Taylor Swift. I'm out. I mean, I never was in. Yeah, did you end up seeing it?
No.
Oh yeah.
I just wondered if you could compare them, because those
Yeah,
are
just
both
from what I've
huge.
heard, yeah, I think the Eras tour was mostly just like, hey, you didn't go to this tour, well, here you go, you can basically watch it. So,
Got it.
yeah.
Where this was much more. Yeah, it's cool. And I love too how Beyonce has made a mark in like filmmaking too, because she has had a few very significant
I
projects.
mean, and you can see that because I think she did like all the Lemonade videos. I think she had a hand in, I don't know if she directed Homecoming. I could check. But yeah, you could see like she is a visual artist as well as like everything else. So you can see like she had an artistic hand throughout the whole process of this movie, and it's just like you can see that she has an eye for detail, obviously, but it was like very impressive on that too, just like being able to see like, wow, like this person can kind of do it all. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Beyonce, don't doubt
her. Do not doubt her.
Another one I watched that was really interesting and I really enjoyed, and I was surprised how good it was. Hackers from 1995.
Is this Jolie?
Yeah, Angelina Jolie is
Yeah.
in it. The lead guy is Johnny Lee Miller, who plays Sherlock on a CBS show now. But I think he's in
He's in
Danny
Trainspotting.
Boyle movies. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
he is, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And this is like a very early view of computers and hacking culture, and
Yeah.
it's very fascinating to watch now that we're in the age of computers and coders.
How far we've come.
Yeah, and this was honestly, I put it on because it sounded kind of funny, and I thought it'd be like a very dated look at things, and it'd be like, oh, let's see what actually happened versus what they thought. And there is a lot of fun stuff like that, like the way they represent how computers work is hilarious, and everything's very like visual. Like,
was it very much like entering the internet? like
Yeah, yeah.
Tron.
Yes, literally, exactly. I was gonna say, remind me of Tron a lot. Like they're looking for hackers in their system, the corporate guys, and it's literally like a city of files that they're like flying through, and all the coders are like super cool and like
Yeah,
sexy, and
everyone's
they're
wearing
like
like leather,
flying a
patent
plane.
leather.
Yes.
How come we didn't do that?
I don't.
Why didn't
I was
Al
gonna
Gore?
say this is. I wish this was the internet future we got.
It's kind of, frankly, it's bullshit. I feel like everything like how come we didn't get cool like light cycles and like skyscrapers made out of
Yes.
data? This is
And I want like
crazy.
VR computers where I'm like
Yeah.
catching. They're like literally like flying planes to catch each other.
That's so
Johnny
cool.
Lee Miller and Angelina Jolie are, the rebel underground coders who are just, and they're it's like this coder culture where they all hang out in like a nightclub together and they all like skateboard and talk about coding and play video games on big, huge simulation things. And they're like all badass and angsty. Matthew Lillard's in this.
I'm looking at the cast right now, and everyone has it's their character name, and then in quotes, they're like, I'm guessing it's their hacker name, and these are probably
Yes.
some of the best. I would like you to read them out at some point because these are crazy.
Read them if you got them
Okay,
right there. Go
sorry.
for it. No,
Okay,
no,
so we'll starting
please.
with Matthew Lillard since you just mentioned him. So his character name is Emmanuel Goldstein. What? And then his hacker name is Serial Killer, but cereal as in the breakfast cereal. Really good.
Yeah.
Johnny Lee Miller is Crash Override, which is
Yeah.
pretty good. Angelina Jolie is Acid Burn, which I actually like. There's an actor named Renoli Santiago who's is Phantom Freak, and then Fisher
He's
Stevens
awesome.
is in this movie, and his is The Plague. Oh, these are all like very like Y2, or I guess like like very 90s, like this makes sense. Yeah,
It's very much like
I was gonna
it
say
reminded me of
Y2K, but it's 95, so I don't know if that counts.
I don't know, but it's very like Matrix. Like it reminded me a lot of the Matrix actually, and just like
And this is before the Matrix. So the
before the
Matrix,
Matrix, I feel like it did have some
I'm sure.
influence to some degree.
Right.
It was just awesome and it was just fun, and it was like there was just like a certain flavor of like 90s movie where it was just like about like a niche group of like outsiders,
The 90s were crazy about that. It was always about like the outsiders like
right?
getting one over
Yeah,
the
yeah,
man. It's crazy.
and just trying to fly under the radar and like
And
do
hack.
their own thing and hack. And so I loved it, and it was actually good though. Like the acting is really good. It's a little corny, but it's
You
awesome.
hesitated on good. You're like,
Well, it is like it's all in a very like cheesy. It's all framed in a very like cheesy, interesting
Yeah.
kind of like cartoony world. Especially now, it feels that way. But it is like the storyline. I put it on because I thought it'd be kind of funny and fun. But I was actually really interested.
You're entranced
to know what was.
Yeah.
I was invested in the story, and I wanted to see what happened. And Angelina Jolie, young Angelina Jolie, was really fun. She was very charismatic, and
She looks good in this. She has like almost like a little little pixie haircut. She looked good.
Dude, she looks. I could not help but see Amanda Bynes, and she's the man.
Interesting. Yeah, this picture that they show,
the haircut and her face.
It's
and
very Amanda Bynes. Yeah.
Very similar faces, like the cheeks and the eyes with that haircut.
Man,
I was like, wow, Amanda Bynes is really similar looking to Angelina Jolie, actually. Never would have thought that.
I want to give a shout out to Jesse Bradford, who is in this movie. He plays a character named Joey Pardella. And he was probably my first like man crush. He was in a movie called Clock Stoppers, and he was also my like a big influence on what I wanted to be in high school in the movie Bring It On, where he was like the cool brother of Elijah Dushku's character, and he like listened to the Clash, and he had like a chain wallet, and he skateboarded, and I was like, I want to be Jesse, or what's his name, Cliff Pentone, and Bring It On. Anyway,
Bring It On, another one with like an outside cliquey group who's like very much, they're kind of very similar actually.
Yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to Jesse Bradford. Hope you're doing good,
dude. And he's very young in this, and he's awesome. Like this, I've always liked him, but he's never been like the main guy, and he's not in this either. But he was really good in this. He's like the young guy who wants to be part of the hackers club,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like drinks too much coffee and smokes a bunch of cigarettes, so he's always kind of like jittery, but he's very charming
It's a
and
good
fun
energy.
too. He was good.
He has a Freddie Prinze Jr. Kind
Mm.
of look about him too, who also
Yeah, I
was
see that.
you know, these are like forgotten stars. Like these could have been like our Brad Pitts.
I was gonna say he really could have, and maybe he still can. Not trying to say your career's over,
Right.
Jesse.
Yeah, he's only like 45. Come on,
extremely
let's
charming.
put him something in. Put him in something.
Romeo plus Juliet. He was in. I don't remember.
That's a movie I need to see again. I want to watch a bunch of Baz Luhrmann's movies. The last movie I saw before I moved to Seattle was The Great Gatsby.
Did you like it?
Gatsby. I think so. I mean, it's kind of, it's fun.
Baz Luhrmann's too much for me.
Yeah, he's a psycho, but I
extra.
feel like The Great Gatsby and Romeo and Juliet kind of fit. I guess all like, did he do Moulin Rouge? He did Elvis. I guess like he likes those, flashy.
Australia.
That's right.
Did you know that got re-released as a
miniseries
recently?
TV show on Hulu?
Watered
I'm just
down,
like, huh?
Something.
So weird.
Because we rewatched or watched Australia recently. Australia's pretty cool, actually. If you do a Baz one, you should watch that too.
Okay, good to know.
That was like a personal movie for him too, because he loves Australia.
Because he's from Australia.
Yeah,
that's like us making a movie about Glendora. It's personal. God. It's personal. Okay, I want to talk about a movie that I saw recently.
Yeah,
that I really, really liked.
I want to hear it.
And it's a new release. It's a 2023 movie.
Mm.
It's Alexander Payne's The Holdovers. It's a movie that Andy said, did he say it was his favorite movie of the year?
Really fast, I have to shout out Andy because he also watched Hackers and liked it.
Oh, nice.
Holdovers, maybe. I know it was one of his favorites.
I think, yeah.
Because I think Angelo also really liked it, if I remember.
I mean, it's really, really good. I don't really know what else to say. You got Paul Giamatti. This kid, Dominic Sessa, this is his first movie. He got cast out of like 800 other people. And he's fantastic. Divine Joy Randolph is in this movie. She's fantastic. If you've ever seen Murders in the Building, the Hulu show, she's in that, and she's fantastic.
Dude. Yeah, she's awesome.
She's also really funny in The Lost City, a movie I didn't really like. But yeah, it's basically it's like one of those movies that makes you feel nostalgic for a time period you have no nostalgia towards. It's Massachusetts in 1970. It's Christmas time. It's so beautifully shot. Let me look at the cinematographer really quick. Give me one second. His name is Elgil Burld. Never heard of him. He did In Bruges. I love that movie.
Oh, that's a gorgeous movie too.
But yeah, I don't know. If you haven't seen this movie, I would say it's, it feels easy to say it's like one of those like pulls at your heartstrings, type of movie. It's like a feel good with some very, very like not depressing, but like
heavy.
Sort of. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to explain. I don't know. This is not doing it justice. I just really like this movie. I don't know. Like I thought everyone performed really well. Paul Giamatti is like fantastic. I thought he was so good in this movie. Him and the kid, Dominic Sessa, have a beautiful chemistry. And there's a couple scenes with like so basically the movie takes place at this boarding school. And Paul Giamatti is one of the teachers. And basically it's a movie about all these people that aren't able to go home for the holidays, and they're called the holdovers. So they stay at this boarding school for the holiday, and it's basically just this very intimate movie. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I don't know what else to say. I want you to see it.
Is this really the first movie he's made? Alexander Payne has made since Downsizing?
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's crazy.
I know. I haven't seen that,
I thought there had been something else.
I mean, I've been on an Alexander Payne kick. I've watched Election recently. About Schmidt was fantastic.
Love About Schmidt.
I loved
Election's great.
I feel like I'm the only person that likes The Descendants, the George Clooney Hawaii movie. You like that movie?
I love it.
I love that movie.
I saw it in theaters, and it was I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think like for a time that was like my favorite movie. Again, this movie's being touted for like Oscars and everything, and I can see why.
Yeah.
I feel like some people are like kind of whatever on it, but it worked for me. I don't know.
I feel like he always gets crossed over in my head, just like with his aesthetic and like vibe is Noah Baumbach.
Yeah, I could see that. This movie kind of remind me kind of like early Wes Anderson, like Bottle
Mm,
Rocket, like
yeah.
less of like the new stuff, like the little toy house aesthetic. But like there's like a lot of like beautiful wide shots of just like snowy buildings. And I'm like, yeah, I love this. It's beautiful. There's like a scene of Dominic Sess's character and he's just like wandering the school at night. And it's just like, I don't know, there's like something about it and you're like, God, like, I don't know. I loved it. I loved it. I absolutely adored this movie.
Your description kind of reminded me of Harry Potter, actually, because that's like a big thing in the Harry Potter books
I
and
was gonna
movies.
say it's like very. I was gonna say it's like American Harry Potter a little bit.
Okay, cool. Then I'm in, dude. That's
There's
like one
no,
of my favorite parts of Harry Potter too, is just him like hanging out at school and
there's no
playing
like,
wizard chess.
there's no sorting hats. There's more like,
No.
yeah, there's more like, I don't know, teen douchebaggery.
But just like winter at like a boarding school gives that already creates like a feeling, a vibe,
There's something very romantic about a boarding school.
cozy and
Yeah,
maybe a little like I don't know, foreign, but yeah, yeah, that's fun.
there's a couple scenes where they go into the city of Boston, and yeah, I don't know. I liked it. It's great.
I would recommend watching Downsizing if you're on an Alexander Payne kick too. It's actually pretty. I watched it just recently, just kind of randomly, but it's actually pretty. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I remember it got really mixed reviews when it came out.
I was gonna say a lot of people are down on that.
Downsized about on it.
Downsized.
They
Still need to see
downsized there.
Nebraska too. That's like the last that and downsizing I haven't seen. Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if my holdovers I wasn't able to capture my feelings through words on the holdovers, but I can't express how much I enjoyed this movie. So that's all I have to say. Thank you
That was
thank you
great.
to Andy for I think I sent you guys like a list of movies. I had like 4 days before I was going to California and I was home alone and I was like, what movies do I see? And Andy was
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
have to see the holdovers. And I chose not to see the holdovers. So I apologize to Andy in advance.
Andy was right all along.
He was right. I wish I did see this in the movie theater, but nevertheless, saw it.
Yeah, Alexander Payne's great and usually very like uplifting, even though it's not like
It's like uplift,
trying to be.
yeah. There's how do you? I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like it feels like a light at the end of the tunnel, kind of like.
Yeah, hope in the darkness. Well, to switch gears a little bit here.
What do you got? You watched Hellraiser?
No. I'll come to 2023 with you.
Okay.
I don't have a lot to say about this one, but I just wanted to comment on it. I watched
Yes.
Fast X, the latest
Oh
of
my
the Fast
God.
and the Furious films. We've talked about these on the show. This was awesome.
Oh.
I really loved it. These are just crazy movies and they're fun. And
Yeah.
I appreciate how into their own world they've gotten and how much they've just embraced.
They truly created a universe.
Yeah, and it's just like so self-referential and there's just like even having like watched most of these at this point, I still don't think I've seen all of them. I'm still just like they reference so many like minute story details from
Right.
previous movies that it just I really enjoy being like lost in this story and like having to like be like, oh yeah, Michelle Rodriguez was killed at one point and then came back as a bad person, but she was brainwashed, so she was actually good.
Do you feel so you said that you haven't watched most of or at least a few of them. Do you feel
Yeah.
lost in the storytelling or because it's so self-referential you feel you feel safe in the hands of Fast X? You're like, okay, like whatever happens, you know?
Yeah, basically, and I just trust what they're telling me.
You
basically.
trust the filmmaker. You trust.
Like they'll just be
Vin
like,
Diesel.
like John Cena's in it, and he's
Yeah.
just hanging out with Dom Toretto, Vin Diesel's kid, the whole movie. He's kind of babysitting him, and also John Cena's like the best part. Exactly, best part of the movie. He was hilarious in it, and I'm just like, they keep talking about this history, and John Cena keeps talking about Vin Diesel's character and how they had these things. I'm like, I don't even remember John Cena being in these movies.
But hey,
I didn't know he was in this series up until this point.
Who cares? Because the cars go fast.
Yeah, and it's fun, and yeah, it's just a good time, and just the action is insane in this one. I know that's the point, but it really is just like where he's like, oh yeah, this is awesome. Kind of like a nice foil or like companion in this time and era to Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Where they're just like, you know what, we're doing
Full
our
throttle
thing at this point. Yeah, like we're gonna go for it.
Now, so how do you feel about the recent news that the new Fast and Furious movie will be kind of a back to basics?
Oh, cool.
That's what I've read.
Is it Fast like 11, 1? Like
I don't know. I just read that they're taking a step back. They're like, let's go back to the heritage. Let's go back to our roots.
A real car movie.
Let's just race cars. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm into it. I wonder. Yeah, are they going to recast? Are they going to like start building up a new?
No,
team?
I don't think so. I think it's the same thing, but maybe they're just going to tone it down a little bit. Again, I think I was listening to our last episode. I'm only a headline guy. You ask for any more details, I can't give it to you. So
that made me laugh so much.
I'm pure headlines.
Everything in that episode. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm into it.
Because the guys, they went to space, right?
Yeah.
So you really can only like how much farther can you go? They do have to take a step back. I do need to watch these movies eventually. I'll get around to it.
They're fun.
Yeah.
But I got a kick out of it.
How could you not? Again,
right?
It's like I think now I feel like I understood like the kind of roll of the eyes when the Fast movies started coming out in the beginning. You're like, cool, like street racing, big whoop. We've seen Torque,
another hackers type of movie, and that's outside group. Yeah, it's in that same flavor.
But now they're just like so extravagant. They're basically it's like a new superhero franchise, and you're just like, okay, this is what movies are. I'll take it. Because we can have this, and we can also have 12 Angry Men. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, why can't we have both?
Holdovers can exist with Fast X.
Exactly. It's good. I support you watching these movies, even though you didn't need my support in the first place.
No, I appreciate it. I wanted it. And I love Vin Diesel. He's just I love that he's become like he's made himself into like a larger than life like person.
Right.
If you haven't, everybody go watch his Facebook videos of him dancing to Beyonce. Speaking of Beyonce and Vin Diesel, it's incredible.
There's a YouTube video of him flirting. I think she's like an Italian, like kind of like do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I pictured Vin Diesel flirting.
Like kind of like an Access Hollywood type thing. And he can't stop. Like they're interviewing about a movie, but he can't help himself. And he's like, "You're so beautiful. Like you're so gorgeous. Like how I don't even know how to talk to you right."
Does he call her like Mamacita at one point or something?
Maybe, but I'm also and I looked, and he was married during this time.
No.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
that's disappointing.
This is going out. So that yeah, just some good Vin Diesel canon right there.
Love him.
Okay, so I want to stay in this Fast family. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I watched a movie recently, which I've never seen, directed by a man who I feel gets kind of lambasted. And I think sometimes unfairly. That is Michael Bay. I watched Armageddon. I hated this movie. I really hated this movie, like a lot. I went in just like, cool, a disaster movie. It's 1998. The height of disaster movies were coming back. You had this, you had Godzilla, you had what was the other one that came out this year? Deep Impact.
Yeah.
Right? So I was pumped. You got Ben Affleck, you got Bruce Willis, Liv Tyler on the cover.
Steve Buscemi.
Right? What could go wrong? Billy Bob Thornton is in this movie, who's actually very good. No, this movie did not work for me. I truly hated it. and I'm not saying that because I'm like, oh, it's Michael Bay, everything was explosions and blah blah blah. No, that partially is it, but man, so the movie is about a meteor
Yeah.
headed the size of Texas heading to Earth, right? And Billy Bob Thornton calls it I think he calls it like an Earth killer or something like that.
Yeah.
something crazy.
What is it? Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
complete kill. I don't know. He had some phrase which I was like, that's pretty good. And for whatever reason, they need the best deep like earth core driller
Yeah.
to drill a hole into this asteroid and place a bomb into it, right? That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
So instead of training astronauts to drill a hole, they instead get oil drillers and train them to be
Yeah.
astronauts. Anyway, so far I'm just like, what's happening? Yeah, Bruce Willis is the guy. They find him, they hire him.
Yep.
Under his tutelage is Ben Affleck's character, who's kind of like the up and coming oil driller who Liv Tyler, who is Bruce Willis's daughter, is in love with.
Yeah.
And I just want to start off with those two because they definitely delve into these romantic scenes, to heighten the tension of the movie. Liv Tyler's in love with Ben Affleck's character, who's basically going on this suicide mission, right? So you need to feel some type of way. Also, her dad is going there as well, which I feel like should be enough for the tension, but they also include this love story. Anyway, there's this scene where they're about to leave Ben Affleck's character, and they're like laying in this like beautiful field of grass, and they're like, he's expressing how much he loves her.
I don't wanna close
Yes,
my
I also want to get to that.
eyes.
He does it through animal crackers, and he's like, he has this like weird fake Australian accent, and he's like basically caressing her with these animal crackers. He ends up putting one underneath her underwear waistband.
And he's narrating it like it's a nature documentary.
Like he's Steve Irwin. And I'm like, this fucking sucks. This is so stupid. I hate this. And then, like you said, there is Aerosmith just blaring throughout the entire movie.
Her father.
Her father. Who
singing a love song while she's getting
also might I add that freaking Aerosmith, when there's a music video with Liv Tyler basically being sexualized in an Aerosmith video. It's very, very, it all feels very strange. And this is playing while she's being, caressed sexually. Anyway, I really did want to like this movie. I don't know why. I mean, when you're like watching a movie and you're just like maybe in a bad mood. Like I think if I watched this movie in the summer or something, I would have like been more into it. But it was truly garbage. And I say that knowing that I appreciate Michael Bay for what he does. I'm not trying to like disparage the guy. Yeah. This is the guy that did Pearl Harbor, so you could see like and I feel like that movie is like scarred by the needless romantic scenes. And I feel like this movie is scarred by that. Like there's no need. Like I think this movie would be so much better without the dumb romance. Anyway, I'm sorry. Also, it has one of the worst title sequences I've ever seen. And I know it's 1998 and the CGI is like pretty bad. And like, or I mean, I guess not bad. Like it was actually amazing for its time, but it just looks so bad and it feels so reliant on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've seen this movie, I'm assuming.
I have. I was gonna say this is one of my.
You're gonna stamp your foot.
Only in fun. This is like one of my guilty pleasure favorites.
But that's the thing, though, because you and I did Con Air. I loved Con Air. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it's a Con Air ballpark one for me. Con Air's better.
Con Air's way better, and it is a Jerry Bruckheimer movie. Like just knowing that he's involved, you know what kind of movie it's gonna be,
right?
But like I loved Con Air. I thought that was probably one of the most fun experiences I had watching a movie and getting to talk about it with you. But yeah, for some reason, like this movie, like just fucking grinded my gears. Like I really wanted the meteor to hit Earth. I was like praying. I was like, please fail, please fail. I'm sorry for going on about this. I couldn't.
No, I love it.
I couldn't stand this movie. It bothered me.
Huh. No, anyway. I can see that. I feel like this is one that if I didn't have like, because this is one I loved when I was a kid. Like, when did this come out? 98, I think. Is
Yeah,
that
you
right?
were 7.
7, 8.
Yeah.
I loved it, and I just thought, I don't know. So it's just stuck with me that way. I respect it. I also like the globe trotting disaster aspect, like when they're showing the world prepare for the asteroid to hit, and it's just like all these people.
See, that made
It's
me roll my
so
eyes so hard. I
it's
was
so
like, Jesus
exactly.
Christ. Like you see all the people outside like the mosque or whatever, and they're like praying, and then
Yes.
you cut to like some like good corn-fed Americans. I'm like, go fuck yourself. I'm
It was
sorry.
just so 90s,
It
like
was so
global
90. It was like
peace.
so
Yes,
like
like
it was so like uber
nostalgic.
patriotic, and we're just like, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay.
This was also written by J.J. Abrams, which makes it a really interesting movie.
Dude, have you seen the writers on this movie? Look at this. So J.J. Abrams, you just mentioned. There's somebody else. Sorry. Tony Gilroy wrote for this movie.
Yeah, no way.
Actually, I feel like there was.
Andor, right?
I thought there was more. He also did Michael Clayton.
Oh yeah. Episode 1, baby.
Shane Salerno, who also did Avatar: Way of Water.
Crazy.
And Jonathan Hensley, who did Jumanji and The Rock.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm sorry.
Cool.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm glad you watched it.
Me too. Also,
that is like a keystone movie for me.
Sorry. Okay, so going
Please.
back to 12 Angry Men, 97 minutes, right? Perfect. This movie is 151 minutes.
Wow.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You got to cut 20 minutes off this. Got to trim the fat a little bit. A little bit.
I thought it'd be like 2 hours max in my memory. I haven't watched it in a minute.
I would like to. I would like to hear your thoughts.
We should do an episode on it.
I'd rather do a different. I'd rather do like The Rock or like Bad Boys.
The Rock would be cool. Did you know The Rock? I think Angelo told me this. The Rock was originally. It's like a secret James Bond movie.
That's right. Yeah, I've heard that.
It's like that's what it's written as.
Isn't that what like Die Hard 2? What is it called? Is it not Black Script? Like where they just buy a script and they retinker it? Or Black? No, not the Blacklist.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Blacklist is when it's like a good script that hasn't gotten made, I think.
Isn't that what it was though? I thought, or I could be wrong.
Possibly.
Who knows? We need Angelo on this. Anywho.
Well, cool, man. This was really fun. You've been super busy. Everybody's been busy with Christmas and stuff, but you especially. I know there's a ton going on.
Speaking of that, sorry.
Yeah, no, please.
So what I wanted to do, and I haven't done so far in the new year, was I wanted to make, because you can make lists on Letterboxd, and I wanted to make lists of all the USPS paraphernalia I see in movies, like whether it's like a mail truck, a mailman, a little USPS blue box, and I've seen a couple, but I have been very bad. I clock them, but I don't make. So maybe that'll be my New Year's resolution from like
That's
February
fun.
on.
Follow that. Follow Ian on Letterboxd. Ian Locke. I'm F is for movies, I think.
You are F is for movies. That is correct.
Yeah, and I've actually been making a lot of lists lately. That would be fun. If anybody has input on those.
Ooh, I like this. Iconic name yells. That's really good.
Yeah, that's a fun one. So if you have ideas that I haven't done, because I'm sure I'm missing a lot of great ones.
I think the best list on here is the Wikipedia article movies. I think that's so funny.
That one's good. I feel like it got overrun by because like corporate biopic became a term.
That was it. That
right?
was
around
the year
that
2023,
time.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I was going for. But then I feel like corporate biopic's a better. Mine's a little broader than that.
Yeah.
Because like Social Network's not a corporate biopic, but it's definitely a Wikipedia article movie.
Yeah, right.
Would you like if I see stuff in movies with USPS?
Oh, that would be awesome. Just send
it your way. That's fun.
Okay.
Well, yeah, this was awesome. Glad we were able to get you on. Maybe in the future, when I know you're busy a lot, it's a bigger time commitment for the full episodes, but maybe we can start doing these kind of like quicker hour-long episodes more often.
I love chatting with you. So yeah,
we can just talk about what we've been watching. It's not like we have to like dig into a specific movie.
I would love that. Yeah,
because this was very fun.
Yeah, it's a joy. I love the apps. More Josh.
We'll get Josh on.
Let's get the whole white crew on. Let's get every sibling on. That would be actually a dream come true to listen to.
We're also getting Sunflower Pop Shop, our resident artist, also my wife, will be coming on. I think this week is the plan. We'll see if we're able to get an episode recorded that we're happy with.
We support nepotism.
Oh yeah.
Unlock it.
I mean, the thing is, anybody could message me. If you listen to the show and want to come on, you can message me and you can come on and talk.
Easy.
I would be happy to.
Truly the easiest invite. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is nepotism, but it's also open to everybody.
Yeah. We're all nepo babies,
guys. Yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Exactly.
If somebody came up, if I had a family member making movies and they're like, want to be in my movie, I'm like, yeah,
oh, easy,
of course.
Yeah, of course.
So, so fun stuff happening, and I'm grateful we got you on. 2024, exciting, very excited for this year.
Yes.
Great things happening for Log It. We're going to be doing more fun stuff.
That'd be a fun future movie or a future episode, what we're looking forward to movie-wise, 2024.
Yes, that'd be really cool too. Yeah. Maybe we can do that as a quickie, but cool. Well, this will probably be its own little thing, so look out for our next episode with Becca, or it just came out, and go check out that episode with Becca that just came out.
Just listen to all of them. Listen to every episode.
Yeah, amen. Cool. All right. Well, everybody, should we say go watch some movies?
Hey, go log a movie. I don't know.
Go log it.
Go log it. Go log it.
Cool.